This lesson is about calling and returning from methods. A method is a named block of code that may or may not require arguments to be passed to it and may or may not provide a return value to its caller. This is an example of a method that does not accept arguments and does not have a return value. When you call the method, it just prints one line of text and returns to you. You can tell it doesn't require any arguments to be passed to it because there's nothing in the parentheses. You can also tell it doesn't return anything to its caller because it's declared as void. Every method returns to its caller. The only way to have a method not return to its caller is to have the program halt inside the method. If you don't include a return statement, the Java compiler inserts one for you at the bottom of the method. Some people like to include a return statement in every method, but it's sort of a tradition not to put a specific return statement at the bottom of a void method. Here is an example of a method with a return value. The method is declared as an int type, so you know the type of data that it will return. To return a value, simply put the value or an expression that calculates the value on a return statement. If you choose, you can leave off the parentheses. I like to put them on there, but the choice is yours. Java doesn't require them. Here is a method that both accepts an argument and returns a value. In this case, the value returned is the value of the argument multiplied by 3. The full name of a method includes the list of types of its arguments. In this example, the full name of the method is actually total int. This method simply returns the sum of the two argument values passed to it. Here is another method that looks like it has the same name, but it really doesn't. Where the first method is named something like total int, the second one is named something like total int, and it returns the sum 3 values. When you put in code to call a method, the compiler looks at the arguments you provide for it to determine the actual method that gets called. In this example, the value stored in result 1 is calculated by a call to the first method, and the value stored in result 2 is calculated by the second method. This is called overloading. If two methods have the same name and only differ by their argument types, then the method names are said to be overloaded. It's done a lot, and you'll soon see where it comes in handy. The same thing is done with object types. That is, one method may require a rectangle object, while another method with the same name requires a string type. That's about it for methods. A class can contain dozens or even hundreds of methods. Oh, and calls to methods that pass arguments will also do automatic widening if necessary. That is, if you have a method defined that requires an int value and you pass it a short, as long as there is no method that requires a short, Java will widen the short to an int and call the method for you. Methods that have the same name as the class are called constructors, and they're kind of special. We'll be getting to those shortly.